You're going to have to excuse me if there's some hard edits today in this video. I'm actually trying to get Zippy to acclimatise with the man cave. He's not quite sure at the moment. There's one paw in. He's a little bit tentative, so I'm watching him out in the garden right now. But honestly, he could be getting up to all sorts, quite frankly. Anyway, the subject matter of today, I think it's David Ornstein's report that Julen Lopetegui could be set to see out the entirety of his West Ham contract, which obviously was a 2-year contract, so he would run the remainder of this season and next season. Let me say from the outset now, I think it's a load of old crap. I really do. Not Ornstein himself, of course. He's the athletic journalist. He sort of does a lot of the West Ham stuff. He's very, very well connected. In fact, I would suggest one of the best connected transfer sources that there are out there, really. I think you can always, there's some, when you read about yourself, we'd say yourself, West Ham being linked with a player in a summer transfer window or something like that, and you see Ornstein's name attached to it, it gives it a certain validity. It certainly rubber stamps it a little bit. He's a respected journalist. He's got good links within the London Stadium, and ordinarily I would believe everything he said. And I do believe that he has been told that the club, that West Ham, hope that Lopetegui will see out the remainder of his West Ham deal. I've got to say, though, there is a massive difference between hope and expectation, because I mean, look, some people have reacted, pretty badly to Ornstein's comments, and I can absolutely understand that, because given the way that West Ham has started, and let's be fair, we should be at least hoping to see an improvement on what we saw again in the first game against Aston Villa. And I think it's hard to say that. It's hard to view that game against Aston Villa and then what's happening now and see any decisive, cohesive pattern of play or any sort of even incremental levels of improvement. I just don't think it's happened. So I can certainly understand how some people, when they hear, hold on, Lopetegui's going to be here for 2 years, irrespective of what happens, you'd think, oh my word, no, I don't fancy that very much. But I'm not upset about it myself, just because I don't believe it. I think it's a fart in the wind, quite speaking of which. I really do. I don't think it carries much weight at all. There's this whole spiel that's gone along with the article that Ornstein wrote in The Athletic, which is basically saying, actually it wasn't an article, it was on a podcast, beg your pardon. And it very much said that the West Ham have a history of being loyal to their managers. Spoke about David Sullivan as well, and that is true. That if they can avoid sacking a manager, that is absolutely true. But make no mistake about it, we're so far removed with Lopetegui from what was promised in the brochure that I honestly, I do believe, not only do I disbelieve what Ornstein's saying, I think he's 2 games away from the sack and possibly even 1. Lopetegui's biggest problem, and he's got a lot, but probably his biggest problem is he has not picked up points in those games where he should have done. There was a lot of people who said at the start of the season, and maybe people who are almost apologists for Lopetegui, who said he's had a tough start. Lopetegui's had a tough start in terms of the fixture schedule and life at West Ham. I don't think so. I think it was, I know we played Man City early on, but I thought it was kind. I really did. Okay, maybe Aston Villa didn't work in our favour, because it does seem that the Wednesday, Sunday football that they're playing in the Champions League, which is hard, we know that as West Ham fans, is certainly hindering Aston Villa a little bit more now. And yes, I guess we were unlucky that we got to play them where they weren't playing 2 games a week. But I think by and large there was plenty of winnable games in our start to the season. And if you look at our next 2 games now, so we got this international break, and then we play Newcastle United 25th of November away. So it's at St James's Park. The game that follows that is against Arsenal. Now, I think almost forget everything else for a second. Do you think that, and obviously, we're still going to have Kudus out. Yes, we'll have Alvarez back for him. Kudus is still going to be out. Do you think that Lopetegui or West Ham can get anything against Newcastle? Is it beyond the realms of a probability that we would lose that game? I think you can see us losing at St James's Park. I think that's fair to say. All you've got to do, just take everything out of it, look at what we've done this season. I think that's not unreasonable to suggest that can happen. And then Arsenal at our place. Well, of course they can beat us. It's silly to suggest otherwise. I think if you look at those two things in isolation, and I know we're thinking forward and we're extrapolating the worst case scenario, but it's not like I'm sitting here and we've been doing brilliantly this season. And I'm thinking, and then like I'm being overly negative or catastrophising. That's the word, isn't it? At the moment, and we've been crap this season. I just think, just judging on this season alone, those are losable games. Where would we be? Well, we'd be lower than 14th. You know, that much would be clear. Those above us, and I said it in yesterday's video, that I do think the teams above us have a little something over us. I struggle to look at those teams, be they Fulham or Manchester United or anyone else that's above them, and think that we will finish above them. Not without a metamorphic change in West Ham. And we're never near a metamorphosis. We haven't even got small incremental improvements at the moment. And so for that reason, I just find it very, very hard to make the case that West Ham do anything other than lose against both Arsenal and Newcastle. And I just think at that point, I think Ornstein's, it's not really a puff piece, but Ornstein's, I'm not even sure it's a confidence on his part. I think he's just reporting a story, truth be known. But I think any confidence that he might have had, or any confidence that anyone might have had who leaked him the story, is gone. They've got to be concerned at West Ham. They can say these words, oh, we hope that he sees out his contract, we stick by our managers, and all these other platitudes. But they must be looking at it thinking, oh man, this is crap. You'd have to be looking, thinking, hold on, I did Nottingham Forest get up there. How come we're down there? It must be so far removed, and they must be looking. It's ridiculous that at this point we're talking about signs of improvement. There's no way. This is not what we signed up for, and I'm talking about the board will be looking at that, thinking when we hired this coach. And yes, it does look like the board hired the wrong coach. Look like David Sullivan hired the wrong coach. That being said, when they hired the coach and chucked 150 million pound at him, they weren't expecting this. That's for sure. And that's why I think it just doesn't matter what's been said. They can think all these things. They can report these things. David Ornstein can say these well-intentioned platitudes that Lopetegui's here to stay and we don't sack our managers quickly and all that type of stuff. The truth of the matter is, I do believe that if we lose to Arsenal, and we obviously having lost to Newcastle before that, he's gone. He's gone. 2 games left. Absolutely 2 games left. Now, just get back to what he would need to survive. A point. Oh, ordinarily, you might say a point at St James's Park is good and then expect to lose to Arsenal, but this is not ordinarily. I think, even just getting a point out of 6 still moves us down. It is really, really hard to make the case that we move up in the league. And of course, to do that, you're looking at, well, you'd want 4 points, wouldn't you, really? Win both. But this is what we're looking at. They're waiting, they're assessing. Results will improve. Well, when? When? Because, you know, we're in a really, really horrible situation. And I don't think we'll get relegated. And people ask about it all the time. I don't think we'll get relegated. I really don't. But I think are we lucky, or is it just the way that the Championship is stacked now because, you know, teams can't spend money and a Championship club that gets promoted is always going to basically inherently have a Championship squad? I don't know. But I don't think we'll get relegated, but not because we're brilliant or we've done anything right. But yeah, just there you go. Anyway, I'm going to go and find wherever Zippy is running around in the garden. He may have actually snuck back in the house, which means we're going to have a little coaching session. I've set a little bed up for him down there, but I think it's easy baby steps. Get him in there. Actually, no, he's not. I can tell you what he's doing. He's eating the hose. He's eating the hose pipe at the moment, but there you go. I can't complain. He went through the night, and for that, I'm grateful.